right, let's jump into it, huh? So this deck was inspired by a build we played against on the ladder last night, which is notably trying to leverage the vaults of Helia here. Hey, the ultimate mistake. Thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. So vaults here says round start, kill your most expensive ally to summon an ally from your deck that costs 1 more. So the core of this deck is an almost mono Shadow Isles Mist Wraith deck. So Mist Wraiths, for people that aren't familiar with them, they get bigger. They get bigger every time you put another Mist Wraith into play, and they're fearsome, which means they're kind of tough to block. And just playing the card Mist Wraith isn't the only way to get this effect into play. So in addition to playing the card Mist Wraith, we also have Risen Mist, which is a 4-cost burst spell, which summons a Mist Wraith. And this being burst is very, very powerful because it allows you to add to the board and then open attacks immediately, as opposed to passing priority when you normally play something. And then we've also got Wraithcaller here as well, which summons a Mist Wraith alongside of it when it comes into play, if you meet that Allegiance requirement. So Allegiance is kind of the reason why we are primarily in Shadow Isles, because we want to hit this Allegiance consistently. Philosopher Jake coming in for the 5th month. Thanks for the Prime. I appreciate it. Welcome back. And Ezio, thanks for the half a year. Good morning, folks. Hope everybody's staying safe out there wherever they're at. So cards like Wraithcaller especially are pretty fantastic alongside Vaults of Helia, because they're a card that generates some amount of value when it comes into play. So the general idea is, if you have, you know, a Wraithcaller or an Undying, and you get Vaults of Helia out, you get to just kind of start your way up a chain with it. So, you know, Undying's a card we don't mind losing to. So Undying turns into Wraithcaller. Wraithcaller turns into Neverglade Collector. Neverglade Collector turns into Darius. And then Darius turns into Rekindler, which re-summons Darius that just got killed to the vaults. And then at the tippiest top of the curve, Rekindler is turning into Captain Pharaon as a way to kind of close the game out in the midway. So I'm starting on 2 Captain Pharaon. There's a chance that this is slightly too many, and maybe we want to cut down to just one of these. But I think this Darius Rekindler Captain top end for vaults to find into seems really, really powerful. And then the bottom end of the deck is kind of just like reasonable Shadow Isle stuff. We've got Kalista as one of our other champions, and then you'll note I'm only playing 2 Darius because we're going to be able to find him with Vaults of Helia. So I've got a cheeky Elise as a 6th champion and another 2-drop. So let's go ahead and jump on into some games here with this one and see how it goes. So, someone in chat last night said that, okay, they're playing Trundle Tryndamere with Targon, so likely a War Mother's Call ramp deck. Someone in chat last night said the double healing landmark gets decided by whoever passes priority last ends up winning. But I wasn't able to validate that myself. So, kind of a clunky start here with no 2-drop. Maybe I should have mulliganed slightly more aggressively. Does Risen Mist let you create instant speed blocker? It does, Dr. Jazin.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
So, Ledros is a play trigger. It's not a summon trigger. So, if you vault out Ledros, you don't get to, you don't get his come into play effect. So, I looked at that, and if Ledros was a summon trigger, so it's important to note that there's a difference between summon and play in Runeterra, explicitly for things like vault that cheat things out. Do I want to glimpse this to try and draw some cards? It feels a little bit bad if we get hushed. If they don't have hush, this is really good. This comes back at the beginning of the next turn. A little bit bigger. Harder, better, faster, stronger, more than every hour after hour. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it's correct to play into hush there. Like, hush is going to get us at some point. It might as well be getting us now. Yes, that's a great comparison. It's very similar to Magic's cast versus enter the battlefield. Super correct.
The trolls are going to war! Go to war!
Alright, so I'm at 19, so the question is, do I feel like I need to Blighted Caretaker to keep myself alive here? I think the answer is no. Hidden Flame. I have trouble estimating if 3 monuments is enough redundancy for strategies built around them. So, the key to having a deck that's built around a card be competitive isn't necessarily having enough redundancy for what your deck is built around, so much as having your deck be competitive when it doesn't have the build around card. And you can kind of see here, right, like, this deck is just, we have Mist Wraiths as a second game plan in this deck. Is basically the TLDR. Coming back to Runeterra after taking a break before Targon stocks, any competitive decks that might be easy for me to upgrade my old ones into. Well, one of the great things about Runeterra, Kyle, is they try to keep the power level pretty as reasonably flat as they can, and obviously sometimes they miss, but so like the new sets are trying to do interesting different things. They're not just trying to power creep old cards out of playability. So most of the decks you had, all of the decks that you had that were playable whenever you last played are probably still playable and have some minor upgrades you can make to them. What's our plan for winning this game? The problem, if I do Cursed Keeper into this, I don't have enough bench space for all of those. Let's Blighted Caretaker to start and see what they do.
A little snow.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Maybe I'm supposed to lead on Kalista there. If Avalanche is on my radar, that's probably a mistake. I was kind of worried about Icequake from Trundle, but maybe that's just not worth playing around. Yeah, Jake, the last couple weeks have been really great. If I'm being honest, it has been so long since I played, like, non-Magic video games, non-Magic related video games, that, like, I genuinely forgotten how many, like, awesome things there are out there to explore.
We shall return.
And not to mention other great card game video games like Runeterra that are a little bit less predatory than what Magic has going on.
Daylight star will rule the skies.
That's really good. Well, unfortunately, these Undyings here don't play defense at all, which kind of sucks. Morning, Blue Perfection.
Needles cross easy.
Grapple, grapple. Thanks for the 29 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think we're just doing this. I mean, it depends. It depends on the matchup, Blake. Like, I think this card is like genuinely good in a number of matchups. Obviously, it's not good when you're trying to play defense because it can't block. But I think saying it's just like generically just bad isn't accurate. I'm probably dead here. I guess I can vault and get in there. Start by attacking.
Fast to best!
Okay, yep. That is, gonna have a little bit of a landmark off here, I suppose. I might run out of space on my board. That's unfortunate. It ended up feeling like an awkward mix, dude. Like, so Shyvana and Oriental definitely don't feel like cards that belong in the same deck. They're kind of doing different things. Was the conclusion I had at the end. I mean, the Targon destroy a landmark card is just like really good, especially if the opponent has. And honestly, I would bet the opponent's probably playing a one of that 7 mana landmark, so that way they have something to draw with their landmark destruction card when they occasionally draw that, and they don't have landmarks to destroy. Seems like a really good approach to it. It feels like if you're going to be playing. If you're going to play that Targon, destroy a landmark, draw a landmark, you always want at least one of your own that you can draw up with it. And like that Freljord one is going to be clunky a lot of the time, but it seems fine as a cheeky one-of to draw on occasion to help you grind into control matchups, while giving your other cards some added flexibility. Interesting. I lead on Kalista here. I am just now realizing I was in a rush this morning that my children stole my water bottle out of my office at some point yesterday. Go find that. I think I'm pretty okay with this stream. Borrowed with no intent to return. That is an accurate descriptor of what children do. This is really good because it lets them hook this and trade with it.
Love ya.
Does anybody know what the tiebreaker is on most expensive ally? Is it gonna kill this or this? It's left to right. Strength, then health, then cost. Oh, that's strongest, yeah. Is it just left to right? 'Cause that means we're gonna get to lose this one. Oh, and now it's... Is it left to right? Left to right feels weird, because you could technically reorder these in instances like this, right? Alright, let's find out, huh?
Strength and grace, beauty.
If we don't sacrifice this, we're in a lot of trouble. Okay.
There can be no justice, only revenge.
Correct, yeah, exactly. Like, it did the leftmost one, and that would... This is an instance where it would be nice if we had, like, a Runeterra rulebook to be able to really know.
Here we go.
Positions are fixed, you only see them reordered on yours. I'm gonna need you to cite a source on that one, Hidden Flame. Because if that's the case, that's extra confusing. Thanks for the 18 months, Mortex. I appreciate the year and a half. Yeah, Vault making Black Spear better. I wonder if Black Spear is a card we're supposed to just be playing. Yeah, and that's something that's likely to only increase as they add more cards to it. Yeah, a lot of that, I'd heavily discourage people from, like, making assumptions based on things you've seen if you don't have, like, a source to cite from someone from Riot saying this is how it works. Because, like, even if you think this is how it works, there's a good chance you're wrong, and then you're spreading misinformation. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first card to explicitly reference your most expensive thing. Yes, Kalista is currently our most expensive thing.
Death to all betrayers! We shall return.
Well, that's lovely.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Easy game indeed. Punt count infinity. Thank you for the 49 months of support. That's a really long time. Thanks for keeping me around. Now, I think it's important to get to 4 because you want to get Wraithcaller. Wraithcaller is very good.
Our vengeance has burned long enough. Act now!
I don't want to trade this for this, so I think I just attack like this. Oh, nice. And we get a Wraith Caller back with her. Sick. Yeah, I think Wraith Caller is actually one of the best cards you could be playing with this, because it's a card that generates value when it comes into play. Generally speaking, it's exclamation point card name, but that doesn't currently work with the new expansion. Let me ping their person and ask them to update it. Actually, the person in charge of the bot. Hey, Manu, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. I'm just getting started here this morning, playing some Vaults of Helia here. A Mist Wraith Shell. Is this Birthing Pod? It's definitely Birthing Pod adjacent. Gives you a little bit less control for the sake of having things work quickly. I think I want to play... Do I want to play the Undying out here? I think so. How was Dragons last night? The build we had wasn't great.
Another day in paradise.
Show them what we're made of.
The Undying has been super underwhelming. Not only because it can't block, but also because board space is kind of precious with Vaults of Helia. Yeah, it clogs the board. Is accurate. Okay, so let's throw you here, throw you here, end up at 6. Yeah, I agree, Drunk Owl. The fact that these landmarks take up board space is the fact that these take up board space is a really big deal. It goes a long way towards balancing them. Now, the way this works, I think it's just nothing happens next turn, so I don't have a 9 in my deck. Because Captain Pharaon's my most expensive? Yeah, okay. Okay. This gets me a Kalista back, right?
We burn, then kindle anew.
Light a candle for every betrayal, and the world burns.
It's worth noting the way things like Kalista interact inside of combat. Works pretty well with things like this. It's a shame we don't get those Myth Wraiths because of bench space, but these are 4/3s at least.
Fall by my sword. Stand for what's
So do we want the landmark anymore? Possibly, because like if we lose the Captain Pharaon, it starts working again, right? Yeah, I believe the Wraiths triggered their +1 effect. It looked like there was a little swirl on them. Is it hard to pick up and start playing this game? Not at all. In fact, acquiring cards in Runeterra for the first time is easier than literally any other card game because there's no predatory loot boxes. You literally just get to buy exactly the cards you want. Was I supposed to open attacks and then just decimate? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's a great tutorial in-game. Tolarian Community College also has a good video on it. Yeah, I think we're gonna. I like what our deck is doing so far, but I think the Undying is definitely a cut. So they're dead. Oh no, they're not dead because these. Right, got it. That's how that works. Okay, so they're at 1, which means they're dead to this. And then they technically take another one the following turn, because after I kill Captain Pharaon, the Vaults of Helia will eat the 7-drop. Maybe 3 Neverglade Collector is too many. Although getting the chain started is good, so that's not true. What are the factors? Yeah, I'm just playing Neverglade Collector. I basically want my top end to be consistent, so I've got just Collector at 5, just Darius at 6, just Rekindler at 7, and just Captain Pharaon at 8. What about Thresh? I think Elise is better than Thresh. Yeah, I thought about Black Spear, like, especially with Vault enabling an ally to die consistently. I think Elise is good. Having cheaper cards is important. Having things to play on curve. Elise is just a very good card in general. And I don't know that Thresh is going to actively solve problems. Like, in fact, I think if I'm replacing those Undyings, I want other cheap things that play to the board. Something that I don't hear too is I'm currently trying to play Stalking Shadows, which I'm not sure if this is ideal in here. Stalking Shadows puts a constraint on how many allies we want in our deck. So, for instance, we have 25 units right now, but only 19 of those are hits for Stalking Shadows. And I think you want like 20 to 21 at a minimum. So I think we could get like 1 Black Spear in here, but I think I want two other units in here. No, I don't think I want Shark. I don't think I want thing. I guess Shark doesn't take up bench space. I don't have that many ephemeral things. Three cost units. Really think there's anything that super stands out? The 3/2 lifesteal is okay. We could just play what's it called? The 1-drop that makes a last breath unit when it dies. We could play Hapless Aristocrat, or we could play Warden's Prey. When I'm summoned, give other spell allies 1 attack, give enemies 1. Warden's Prey is probably just fine. It's like a card. It's a card that like plays to the board early and trades with something, and then can make us another last breath thing that's okay. Play a couple of those, I think. Skitterer makes our fearsome stuff a little bit better. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm gonna try a couple of Warden's Prey to start. I like the idea of dragging the curve down. Our deck's got a lot of chunk at the top end, so like having plenty of low curve stuff to fill in feels good. Warden's Prey is also like reasonable to grab with Stalking Shadows because you don't mind the one of them being ephemeral. I think you pretty much always mulligan Darius, our 7-drop, and our 8-drop in this deck. He says as he draws Darius. What do you want from me? But I'm playing Trundle Acel here, so could be War Mothers, almost assuredly a ramp deck. We only have one Elise anyways, though, Logan, so, like, making deck building decisions around a singleton Elise doesn't seem particularly great. The music on this Halloween board is a perfect match to what we're doing in terms of our deck. Yeah, exactly what Jin said. Elise isn't a champion that you play because she's great to level. She's just a good rate on her card at a 2/3 fearsome for 2 that makes 1/1s. And, like, I don't want to play a third Darius because I don't really want to draw them if I can avoid it. In fact, the only reason I'm playing 2... Oh, I forgot to go live on Discord. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm running behind this morning. Thanks to the reminder, TDM. I completely forgot. So they're avalanching again here. This seems fine for us with double Mist Wraith in hand. This seems like not a big deal. Hey, Full Flame, thank you for the 25 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so do we go like Grenadier into Kalista into Darius here?
These are troll.
Oh, actually, so they played this. I get to go ahead and play Grenadier here. If they attack, I get to block and then Black Spear.
That doesn't scare me.
There's a chance we want to play more than one of this card.
But I'm king.
I think not playing Neverglade Collector in this deck would be a big punt. This deck is an aggressively slanted mid-range deck, and that card gives you a ton of reach. So are we jumping? Wow, two cards to gain 6 sounds great. So, I think we just go Kalista, Wraith, open attacks next turn, right? And I'll lead on this, because if they want to attack, we'll trade and get a level on her. Or get a point towards leveling on her. Yeah, I mean, that's fine if Orient Soul comes down, right? We're going to have a really big attack. Hopefully just, like, burn them out of the game. It's possible I want some of the Drain Beast in this deck. Yep. Always order Darius last to level him inside of combat, ideally. So, he levels when the enemy Nexus goes under 10 life or less. So, if any of these connect, he'll get to level up. And this is only putting them to 18. So if 2 of these hit, he's still going to get to level. And combat goes left to right, so if he levels, he'll hit as a 10, which is great. And that star shaping there, they're just dead, right? Oh, they're going to 1, sure. Darius is a big boy, chat. He is a big boy. Oh, Gladden Sack was lethal. Yeah, good call. sorry, chat. I saw the decimates and I couldn't help myself. Don't judge me. It's fine. I'm not sure that there's gonna be a wrong way to eat this, Reese's. And this is, you know, like, looking at this game, this is what you want out of a deck that's built around one specific card. We didn't get Vault down on turn 5 this game, and our deck is still playing a functional game of Runeterra without having Vault on curve. So the goal when you build around a card like this is to have your deck be insane when you keep the landmark in play, but have it be playable and reasonable when you don't have your namesake card. So this can trade here, this can trade here. That was their biggest thing to revitalizing Roar with. That bodes well for the home team, chat.
The chains, they never stop.
The chains, they never stop. Alright, I'm gonna go grab my water bottle really quick that my children stole from my office at some point last night. We have found the borrowed product. Here's the borrowed product empty. I refilled it on my way back in. Shivana Oriental. Alright, this was not great for us last night. Be interested to see if our opponent figured out something that works for them. Basically, always mulliganing Rekindler. Risen Mist a little slow to start too. I'm just gonna pull mulligan looking for a thing. Jacob the Cosmos. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome back.
Shroud the world in wings.
So if I play this and they play a Shyvana or a 4/4 dragon, I won't have good attacks. So I think I open on attacks here. Yeah, I don't think calling Oriental win more is accurate so much as that, like, Oriental just doesn't do what this card is looking to do in decks on average. This is a more aggressive champion, and Oriental's more of a late game bomb. Go over the top style card.
Her power is unimaginable even now.
I think we just glimpse here, right? Because it saves us from them getting to get 4 damage with this. Always an issue with the term win more. So, win more is a real term in general. It's just like most jargon, people tend to use it when it doesn't apply. So attacking with everything to start here.
I smell fear.
Well, this seems really good for us. This turns into an Everglade Collector.
Lovely day for a battle.
Lovely day for a battle. We'll get to play Darius here, and then Darius is going to turn into Rekindler next turn, which will bring back Darius.
I have my orders.
And you have multiple the same landmark in play. You can, but then they take up multiple spots on your bench, which isn't necessarily great for you.
Not so fast.
So I think I trade here, and then this gets second Darius out of my deck. That's pretty unfortunate.
Press on. Mine is the hand of Noxus. One candle for every soul.
I think Hades is a really well-made product if you enjoy that style of game, but I don't know that I personally really enjoy that style of game. I'd encourage you to watch. I've done two video sets with it, and they're both up on YouTube. I'd encourage you to take a peek at those to see how you feel about it. I think we just pass here, right? This is going to turn into a Captain Pharaon. Yes, the vault does pull the cards directly out of your deck. So you can, this isn't a created Darius, this is a Darius out of our deck. He's the best roguelite ever made. You think it's the best roguelite ever made. It is an accurate descriptor for you personally. I actually prefer Dreamscaper to it overall, I think. Which is another game that's currently in early access.
Direct assault. They will bleed for Noxus. The Targonians can't play their games.
I think it's worth playing the lab before brewing decks, definitely. The lab's a great experience.
Empires are built upon action. Move.
I think I glimpse here. Because glimpsing here... Yeah, glimpsing here means that this will be able to get us a Rekindler next turn off of a Darius, and the Rekindler will summon another Darius. So ace all levels.
From the forger of stars. We burn, then kindle anew. I do love an audience.
Oh, we definitely left ourselves dead and our opponent missed it, so God bless.
Fresh soil.
Do I even want to draw cards here? I don't think I do. Guys, let this happen.
They'll see me sooner or later.
But from every fallen, a new seed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's collector attack with these.
True.
We go up to 19 here. I think I eat this in response. So this doesn't get bigger.
Even to the young bloods, we are nothing.
Okay, so this is gonna turn into a Mist Wraith. The allegiance thing.
My saplings.
My, how they stare.
I think Lux is a good fit for a dragon deck. No, probably not. Lux wants you to play a bunch of 6+ cost spells, and Dragons wants you to play a bunch of expensive dragons, so that curve's probably not very good. That's gonna do it. So what I just did there when someone asked the suggestion is a good example of how to give good feedback on things. Someone said, hey, does this work? And I didn't just say, no, that's bad, no, that's stupid, no, yes, that works. I gave my opinion, but I also took a second to explain why my opinion is what it is on the topic. And that's what I'm looking for when people give feedback on decks we're playing in chat. And usually if you get timed out for making deck recommendations, because you didn't do that, you stated an opinion like it was a fact, and you didn't give any defense or extra bonus with it to help us understand why your opinion is what it is, and that's really just not helpful. So, my thoughts so far on what we have going on here is that this Vault's top end seems really good. The Vaults of Helia the Vaults of Helia, Darius, Rekindler, Captain Pharaon seems really powerful. So like these 9 cards together in a Shadow Isles Noxious Shell is something I want to play around with more. That being said, there's some clunkiness in the bottom end of the curve in this deck. And what I mean by that is Vaults of Helia is a card that takes a space on our board, right? And these Wraith Callers and Mist Wraiths generally want us to be going wide as well. And Blighted Caretaker, card that kind of goes wide. Cursed Keeper, card that takes up space on the board as you develop it. And I feel like I have too much go wide at the bottom. And I'm not a huge fan of how my board space management has felt so far. What about something that's more controlling with the Mist Wraiths? Yeah, I think something like that could perhaps be good. Now, the tough part about being Mist Wraith focused is I basically can't play any more Noxious cards. I like how I take the second to explain how to give good feedback in chat, and then there's always immediately someone that's just like, do this. This is better, which is no justification to follow. Some things are very, very true across games. Yeah, scaling up Ryuga could be very good, being a little bit more controlling. Yeah, I agree. Stalking Shadows has felt clunky. I've not felt like I really need the extra cards on top of that. Yeah. I definitely felt that. I don't know that I love Cursed Keeper and Blighted Caretaker necessarily. Oh, the hits keep coming. All right, so what are 2 and 3 cost units? Because something that's kind of important to do is make sure we have enough units at different points on the curve to sacrifice to our things. I like the emote recommendation. That's a solid one. Good beats. Yeah, I like Warden Spray. Frenzied Skitterer, Hapless or Skitterer. Oh, you want a full spider package? So, I don't know that I want a bunch of Elise, because, like, Elise's spiders are 1s, right? So, like, she's gonna sacrifice. She's also a card that, again, takes a lot of... Exactly, Cristobal. I feel like our ability to win the game with this package is good, and maybe the Mist Wraith package is not great, right? And like again, this is when you're building around new things early on. Do I have unit selected? I do have unit selected. I thought I spelled that right. When you're building early on, that's not necessarily do you want to focus on entire decks, but focus on packages or specific combinations of cards that feel like they're worth working more on. Does Stun Spider's a play effect, right? This is a play effect again, and a big part of why I'm on. People keep suggesting we cut the Wraiths, many of whom not making good suggestions for why. But like, if you look at the other 4-drops, Mist Wraith, the Mist Wraith Wraithcaller here is the best 4-drop to be using with vaults in these regions. Because that's not our problem, Pro Bros. That doesn't solve the issue that I'm having. Like, if you look at if you've watched the games we've played so far, my issue is not having enough top end. The Vault, Darius, Rekindler, Pharaon is an incredible amount of top end, right? Crocodile played with Heliod would be great. No, you only get it for 1 turn, Redness. So, like, if you could stop here, this would be really good, but Vaults always kills your largest things. Yeah, and that's the other question. Do we just have enough units and we wanna rebuild in the other direction? If I'm cutting the Blighted Caretakers and stuff, Kalista gets worse. When I'm summoned, create a copy in hand of an ally that died this game. So like this could be a good 3, right? Like, this is a card that it comes into play, it gets value, and you don't mind throwing it away to vault to get something else. I think a couple of Vengeance is a good suggestion. I think I could probably squeak 1 more Noxious card out, and Scorched Earth feels good. I think that's a card I'm interested in. Killing Landmark seems important. It's also sort of the general piece of removal. So, like, we added 2 Vengeance. We're up to a 2nd Black Spear. We added some Scorched Earth. Yeah. So I have one more slot here. So the problem, chat, people that are recommending Noxious cards, every Noxious card we add comes at a very real cost with Wraithcaller. So I think I want an effect that's pretty unique and specific in order for that to be something that's worth doing. Yeah, it could just be another Rekindler. This card's super powerful. I don't hate that. It generates, like, this is basically 2 bodies for Vaults too, which is good. I'm gonna play a couple of games now, Lampton. We're not done yet. We've only been playing for about an hour. But yeah, I think like 6 is the tippy top. And I think 4 to 5 is probably the ideal. Stop screaming! Oh no! Oh no, the man in my TV, he's too loud! TV man! TV man, be quiet, TV man! Why won't the TV man be quiet? TV! Oh no! Oh no, TV man! Gosh, life must be tough not realizing you can make the volume on your computer quieter. Alright, they are playing a Dragons deck again. Let's get a little bit of a rematch here. This will probably be a matchup that's a little bit better. A little bit better with Vengeance. I think we just full mulligan here, looking for some of our bottom end and Vengeance in the vaults. I don't know, D-Rock. That's a question I'm looking to answer. So the basic premise that I'm going into building this deck with right now is that I think Wraith Caller is the single best 4-drop that we can pair with Vaults of Helia.
Dragon blood, Demacian heart. Let the blood boil, half-dragon. End them.
Our hand is super awkward here. That is definitely the case. I can't find the remote and the kids are doing schoolwork. What am I supposed to do? Change the volume myself? This is like Scribosauros seems really sweet in here, because like Scribe's a card that has synergy with Mist Wraith, and it's just a card we don't mind vaulting away, right?
The skies darken with their approach. Even to the young bloods, we are nothing.
Opponent's getting on board very quickly here.
Break them.
We're gonna do this, and then they're gonna single combat and make us really sad. That's the secret to Dragon's draw roll. To be fair, if you have this into Shyvana every single game, it's probably really good, right?
Now I take to the sky.
I'll handle this myself.
Her animation is gorgeous. You're not wrong.
Howling through her.
Gone. Return to us.
Return to us.
Not so fast.
We just do this, and then we'll like play another. We'll play another Rekindler here. Do I want to Vengeance this now? Hello, babyest girl. How are you this morning? Are you super cute? Who's super cute? Haley is. I think we just take this trade and then play the Rekindler still. Going to 5 is going pretty low, though. Stuff. It's close.
One candle for every sun.
Don't worry, I'll spot any danger.
Do they just rally? Yikes. This kill target damaged unit's gonna be real good though. Looking like a solid ad. This card could be worth playing more of at the cost of making Midrange less consistent. This card seems super powerful. Hey, congrats, Crazy Duck.
Such naivete.
So we went up to 3 Rekindlers, so I can block here, kill this, and then this is going to turn into another Rekindler next turn.
Return to us.
So none of these have Fearsome or anything like that. So I feel like I'm just supposed to go wide here. Like, fill my board up and then plan to Vengeance something next turn.
What does he want from me?
The Star Forger himself.
You rang.
You rang. Oh, this thing can make champions too. That's really good. Yeah, we're getting a Captain Fair on this turn.
Break this siege. Captain, move in. I want to go home.
We just block like this.
Strange.
I'd recommend going back and watching this up from the start, EOT. We started with that card, we ended up cutting it. Yeah, our Rekindlers are all gone. We're through 3 of those.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
You willing to explain why you cut it? I'd recommend going back and watching the video. Thanks for the quarter of a year, Cliff Jumper. Drop a second ball.
Our vengeance has burned long enough. Act now. Sorrow without passion is weakness.
Her power is unimaginable, even now.
I guess we should call him Scribe of Darius.
Mine is the hand of Noxus.
Even to their young bloods, we are nothing.
So it would seem that our deck is not good enough against Orion Sol. Our top end is insignificant against theirs, which doesn't seem unreasonable. Orion Sol is usually pretty good against other mid-range strategies. Our bench management felt better that game though. Something to note was as I was playing the game, I didn't feel like we were choked on bench space going through. I don't even think the Dragon Heralds are sneaky good. They're just objectively good. Our opponent's start that game was also very good, right? Like they had Dragon Herald into Shyvana, into second Dragon Herald, into like turn 7 Orion Sol. Alright, let's see if we can survive against Pirate Aggro, huh? I'm gonna mulligan, looking for a couple of cheaper things. Swing and a miss. Ledros is a play trigger, not a summon trigger, so he's not particularly good with vaults. If we don't draw a 2-drop next turn, there's a good chance we just get run over this game. Or attacking on evens, just don't have any plays early. Yeah, it's super unfortunate. I guess actually, I'm gonna get to Risen Mist before blocks next turn, since it's burst speed. Maybe that could be our saving grace. Kind of expecting the opponent's archetype to get nerfed in the next patch. It's real good. Championless Bilgewater Shadow Isles. Some kind of weird variation on Spiderburn. One thing that is awkward about Scribe is that Scribe's a 3-drop that I often don't want to play on exactly 3. They could be a Dreadway combo deck, yep. Yeah, Vile Feast is a card that we should perhaps be playing.
Come closer.
Definitely just like a generically good card that's strong. Could be an Undying variation. Yeah, but so you need to think about what the deck's already doing, Mad Wheels, and if we're getting Ledros off of Vault, that means we already had Captain Pharaon come into play, and if we had Captain Pharaon come into play, we really don't need more stuff in our hand to spend mana on, because Captain Pharaon gives you infinite things to spend mana on to burn your opponent with. So again, don't just shout out cards that like kind of fit into the deck. Think about what the deck is doing and how those cards might help it. And if you think through those things, what the deck is actually doing in what you're describing, it'll help you realize when things like that don't line up well. I don't even think like Hush and stuff is a reason that he's not good. It's just like his summon effect isn't a summon effect. And then Shakedown with Cursed Keeper is real sweet. That's gas. Yeah, opponent's deck seems real sweet so far. It's been fun, Earl. I think a lot of, as the card pool in this game continues to grow, Runeterra is only going to get better. Like, literally, there's two pieces of negative feedback on Runeterra at the moment. One is that the deck editor desperately needs a craft all button, and two, the card pool's a little on the small side. And I think as the card pool improves in size, this game will only just get more and more interesting as the deck building deepens.
I don't change fate, but I can see
Yeah, I agree, Jin. And Riot has a very good plan that should go a long way towards addressing the card pool size. Like, this card, for instance, is a good example, right? Like, this is a card that, like, wasn't really playable, but it's really sweet with Vault, right? So, like, cards that previously are weak get better as more cards get added to the game. My number one pet peeve is if you're gonna make a card recommendation for the deck, at least take 30 seconds and look at the deck list first. So, for example, to the person who just got timed out for suggesting we cut a Kalista for another release, there's 3 Elise in my deck. There's 1 copy of Kalista in my deck because I don't want a third Darius, because we find Darius with vaults. This card's been really impressive. I think the suggestion of Vile Feast is probably a good one. That's a card I should likely work into here. It's a pretty generically good card. Vile Feast is also good at popping spell shields for cheap. How do you like the expansion system in Runeterra compared to Magic or Hearthstone? I think Runeterra's expansion plans are very reasonable overall. I think they, as someone who's like made content in other games for a long time, about 6 to 8 weeks is when things start to feel stale without new card injections. So adding some amount of new cards every 2 months is a pretty good line, I think. All right, so do I just go ahead and Scorched Earth this now, I think? Because this has Overwhelm, so it's still gonna hit them for 6. Yeah, it's a very pod-esque card, Texas Horror. And it is sweet, just like Pod is sweet.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Yeah, having some balance adjustments, especially things that buff cards, is really good for Runeterra, keeping things fresh as well.
Return to us.
Return to us. Ruination. Is that good, chat? If that's good, please explain why. Ash World, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And this should summon a Mist Wraith, a Wraith Caller. And then this is Burst. Ooh, spooky. Yeah, Rhythmus is really powerful at open attacks. I feel like I want another Scorched Earth, and I want some... Yeah, I agree, Jin. Like, the sweepers in this game feel so much less bad than in a game like Magic because of how the management system has worked. I want some Vile Feast too. What do I want to trim to make that fit in there, though? Maybe I don't need 3 Neverglade collectors. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not confident of a lot of the details in this deck, but I do feel like Vault into Darius, into Rekindler, into Captain Pharaon, like these like 9 to 10 cards feel really good at the top end of this archetype, and I feel like there's a lot that you could explore in how you want to flesh out the bottom exactly. Think you want to cut the second Pharaon? Yeah, I can see that. Especially if I'm going up a Scorched Earth, that helps me keep my total number of Noxious cards down. A Quill, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Yeah, I think I can see that. Can see that being an okay. Need two more trims here. I don't know. Black Spear's been pretty okay. And especially if I'm adding Vile Feast, Black Spear's technically a little bit better. Trim around the edges on some of these cards and see how that feels. Vault is so important to get into play. I think it's worth having extra ones stuck in your hand on occasion, Army. Kill target damage thing is probably good against Kench. I think Glimpse is really good here because we can kill our thing in response to Kench trying to eat it. Thomas! Thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Take from the rich and give to the streamer. I appreciate you transferring some of Jeff Bezos' wealth to Jeff Hoagland's wealth.
I pull the strings.
I'm still good to scrap.
Yeah, pretty okay with this exchange. I know the spider out of it.
Oh, you're a wee numpty.
Vault with Anivia sounds sweet. I think there's a lot of different directions you could build. You could build in with Vault. This is definitely far from the best one, far from the only one. Gosh, you could Vault Anivia into Rekindler too, huh? That actually sounds like gasoline. Yeah, you could go Anivia into Rekindler into Tryndamere. Yeah, that sounds hot. That sounds really lovely. Alright, so I think I'm gonna Elise plus Scorched Earth here is my plan.
Spit her out from the darkness.
How delectable.
You dare!
And now the question is, do I want to kill this or do I want to attempt to kill this? I think it's the landmark. They very easily have Guiding Touch, right? The problem with Lee Sin is not that he is too strong. The problem with Lee Sin is that he is linear and very uninteractable for a lot of decks in the game. Lee Sin is not too powerful, he just sucks to play against for a lot of regions. The best thing about Runeterra is its combat system, and Lee Sin makes combat largely irrelevant against him in a very bad way. Lee Sin deletes part of the game that makes the game really excellent.
I do enjoy prospecting. Let us reconnoiter.
Hey, have a free meal, Kench.
Come on in.
Reminds you of Embercleave. It is Embercleave-esque. That's a good comparison. You know, it's kind of funny getting Kalista here is actually worse for us than getting the other one, right? Maybe Mr. Wraith will get to do stuff here.
Put me in, Tommy boy!
Oh, I'll be happy to accommodate, Pablo.
Kench's voice lines are so good. I'm gonna throw away this spider because I want the bench space. We get a point in. I think I just eat Kalista in response here.
No more of your crap soup, lassie, please! It's that soup? You've been drinking this?
Another. Let us peruse this establishment's fare. It's too late now.
I think we just Darius here.
My axe is ready.
Everyone here? Let's go! Ring the flippin' bell! Where are you off to?
That's really brutal.
Where there's a will, there's a meal.
We have 9 mana total. How do you feel about just playing a bunch of Mist Wraiths this turn? Kinda into it.
So what's in store for me?
I need time for commune talk, as you know!
Yeah, depending on what their hand looks like, this Black Spear could maybe get Kench. Hey, Jebido, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Plenty of room inside. Call me king! Call
Worth noting here, if Black Spear had been the kill target damaged thing, we'd have killed Kench here in response, right? So maybe this one Black Spear should just be a third copy of that. Is very, very possible. Nah, I think I want to hold the Black Spear so I can do this. And this is gonna get us a Wraith Caller here. I mean, if they don't block there, that's also good for us. You can spear your own units. Yeah, the Wraiths are going to work here. I think there's a chance Spear should probably go back to costing 2. I think that card's probably fine at a 2 cost. So the one of the problems with Risen Mists here is I'm not able to use Risen Mists to overwrite something. So I think I'm supposed to actually Risen Mists here, because then I want to play this over this, I think is the plan. Let's soft pass for now. See if they attack. If they attack, I can block with the spider. And this is going to turn into an Everglade Collector next turn.
Our diet is expensively unique.
I'll protect you.
Let us peruse this establishment's fare.
Oh no! We were out of Neverglade Collectors. Oh, that's unfortunate. Poop. I forgot we cut down to 2 of them. Opponent's just dead. Alright, didn't matter. Yeah, and Kench isn't very good against Mist Wraith, right? Because they just have so much power. I kind of like where we ended up at. I feel like we built in a neat direction. I think one of the most interesting things about what this archetype is doing so far is I really love how landmarks taking up bench space is something that matters. It's a really interesting extra layer that comes with deck building and considerations as we go. I guess one last thing I wouldn't mind probably changing is I actually think Scribe of Sorrows is probably better than Kalista on average when we have Vaults of Helia going. So I think I'd like to cut the Kalista, so Scribe of Sorrows is my only 3. And then do I play another champion in here somewhere? I could. We could also just only play. We could play a cheeky Thresh, I suppose. It means our 5s aren't always going to be Neverglade Collector, but Thresh being in the mix at 5 seems reasonable, right? I don't hate that, so I think I'd swap that way. Our curve looks pretty good. We have a bunch of 2s, some 3s, some 4s, some 5s, and then some at the top end. I think if you're interested in building this archetype in another direction, I think Freljord is probably a neat direction to go. Turning Anivia into Rekindler with Vaults of Helia sounds really, really awesome. And then you could turn Rekindler into Tryndamere in Freljord. So instead of Darius, Rekindler, Pharaon, you could go Anivia, Rekindler, Tryndamere as your top end. I don't know, Salamander. So, like, Black Spear is better against lower to the ground aggressive decks like Pirates. Obviously, Scorched Earth is better against, Scorched Earth is better in that matchup we just played, but, like, we won that matchup because our Mist Wraiths are good there, too. So I think the split here is probably fine. But, yeah, there's lots of different directions you could build vaults in, and I think the other one I would like to try out is Anivia into Rekindler into Tryndamere, but I'm pretty happy with where this one ended up at overall. The Wraithcaller package felt really good. This is definitely a standout card to me. I feel like if you are playing Noxious anything right now, you probably want to consider some number of Scorched Earth. Just Noxious Guillotines, a card that's been very close to playable a lot of the time, and the fact that this is like a single guillotine that also has flexibility to kill landmarks seems really valuable. Does Tryndamere level up if he gets hit by Vault? He does. Yeah, so if you were to play this build with Tryndamere, you probably want a Ledros in your deck just so you could turn Tryndamere into that to level him up. If I would die level instead. Alright, what are we doing? We're not done with Runeterra. We've got a number of decks coming up yet today. Up next, we are going to kick the tires on another one of my favorites here. We're going to play some Twisted Fizz.